If your knees ache by the time you get to the mailbox and back, the shoes in your closet might be part of the problem. I'm going to walk you through 5 specific types of shoes that make knee arthritis worse, not because a shoe company wants you to buy something new, but because of what these shoes actually do to the way force travels up through your leg every single time your foot hits the ground. Some of these are going to surprise you. One of them might already be sitting by your front door right now. Stick with me to the end, because number 3 is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's probably the biggest mistake I see people over 45 making. Let's get into it. Number 5, shoes with no arch support, including some comfort shoes. And number 5, and this one might be the most surprising, shoes that are marketed as comfortable but actually have little to no real arch support. Think certain slip-on canvas shoes, some house slippers, and even some of those foam clog-style shoes. Here's the confusion. A shoe can feel soft and cushiony the moment you put it on and still not have real structural support. Softness and support are 2 completely different things. A shoe can feel like a cloud in the store and still let your foot roll inward with every step, a movement called overpronation, which then rotates your lower leg and puts twisting stress directly on your knee joint. This is especially common with those foam clog-style shoes people wear as everyday house shoes. They're soft, yes, but soft isn't the same as supportive. Without a proper arch and a stable heel counter, your foot moves around more than it should with every single step. And your knee compensates for that movement hour after hour, day after day, especially if you're on your feet a lot around the house. What you actually want is a shoe with a firm heel cup that doesn't collapse when you squeeze it, a defined arch that matches the shape of your foot, and cushioning underneath, not instead of that structure, but in addition to it. Number 4, minimalist or barefoot shoes. These became popular over the last decade or so, and for younger runners with strong, well-conditioned feet, some people do find in them. But for someone managing knee arthritis, they can be a real problem. The whole design philosophy behind minimalist shoes is removing cushioning and structure so your foot moves more naturally. That's the point of them. But if your knees are already dealing with arthritis, that lack of cushioning means there's nothing between your joint and the ground to absorb impact. These shoes also tend to have little to no arch support and a very thin sole, which again puts more responsibility on your foot and ankle to stabilize your body. Responsibility that, for a healthy joint, might be fine, but for an arthritic knee translates into extra strain. If you already own minimalist shoes and love how they feel, that's a conversation to have with a physical therapist about whether they're appropriate for your specific knees. But as a general category, if you're dealing with knee arthritis, more cushioning and more structure is typically the better direction, not less. Number 3, worn-out athletic shoes. Now here's number 3, the one I said almost nobody talks about, worn-out athletic shoes. This one catches people off guard because they think, I'm wearing sneakers, I'm doing the right thing. And you might be, but only if those sneakers are still doing their job. Here's the thing about athletic shoe cushioning. The foam midsole that absorbs shock breaks down over time even if the shoe still looks fine on the outside. The tread might look barely worn, the color might still be nice, but that internal cushioning has compressed and lost most of its shock-absorbing capability. A general guideline a lot of podiatrists mention is replacing walking or athletic shoes roughly every 300 to 500 miles of wear, or about every 6 months to a year for someone walking regularly. But honestly, most people wear the same pair for 2, 3, even 4 years without a second thought. When that cushioning is gone, your shoe stops doing its job of absorbing impact, and your knee joint takes over that role instead. It's the same problem as the flip-flops, just hiding inside a shoe that looks supportive. Here's a simple test you can do right now, today. Take your regular walking shoes and press your thumb firmly into the midsole. That's the foam part between the tread and the top of the shoe. If it feels hard, compressed, or you can barely leave a dent, that cushioning is likely worn out, even if the shoe looks fine otherwise. Also, check the wear pattern on the bottom. Uneven wearing, more worn down on one side than the other, can mean the shoe is no longer supporting your foot evenly, which again puts uneven stress up into your knee. Quick pause here. If this is useful so far, go ahead and hit like. It genuinely helps this video reach other people who are dealing with the same knee issues you are. And if you want more videos like this on joint-friendly living, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Okay, 2 more to go, and these last 2 are just as important. Number 2, high heels. And I want to be specific here because this one applies even to heels you might not think of as high. Here's the mechanism. Any heel over about 1.5 inches starts to shift your center of gravity forward. To compensate and stay balanced, your body naturally tilts your knee into a more bent, locked position while you walk. That position increases the pressure specifically on the front and inside portion of the knee joint, which, for a lot of people with arthritis, is exactly where it hurts most. Research on gait and footwear has shown that heeled shoes can increase pressure on the knee joint significantly compared to walking barefoot or in flat, supportive shoes. That's not a small effect. That's a meaningful, repeated load every time you take a step. And this isn't just about going out in stilettos for a wedding. I'm talking about those dressy flats with the little 2-inch heel that a lot of us keep for work or church or dinners out. If there's an elevated heel and no cushioning, your knees are absorbing that tilt. If you need a bit of a heel for certain occasions, aim to keep it under 1 inch and pair it with as much cushioning and ankle support as you can find. But for everyday wear, flat is genuinely better for your knees. Number 1 on my list, flip-flops and flat, unsupportive sandals. I know. Summer's here, they're comfortable, they're easy to slip on and off, but here's what's actually happening when you wear them. Flip-flops have essentially no arch support and no structure. To keep them on your feet, your toes have to grip and curl with every single step, which changes your entire walking pattern. That change doesn't stay in your foot, it travels up the chain, into your ankle, and right into your knee. There's also the thin, flat sole to consider. That sole isn't absorbing shock, it's just kind of there. So instead of the shoe cushioning the impact of your foot hitting the pavement, your knee joint ends up doing more of that work. And think about how people actually walk in flip-flops. That slightly shuffling, adjusted gait to keep them from flying off. That altered gait pattern, repeated day after day, is exactly the kind of thing that puts uneven, repetitive stress on an already sensitive knee joint. Now, I'm not saying never wear a sandal again. If you love sandals, look for ones with an actual contoured footbed, some arch support, and a heel strap that keeps your foot from sliding around and your toes from gripping. That small difference changes everything. Recap. So let's quickly run through all 5 again. Number 1, flip-flops and flat sandals with no support. Number 2, high heels, even small ones under a couple inches. Number 3, worn-out athletic shoes that look fine but have lost their cushioning. Number 4, minimalist or barefoot-style shoes. And number 5, soft but unsupportive shoes like some slip-ons and foam clogs. The theme running through all 5 is this: your knees need a shoe that has real structure, real arch support, a stable heel, and cushioning that's actually still doing its job. If a shoe is missing more than one of those things, your knees are probably picking up the slack. If you found this helpful, do me a favor and let me know in the comments which one of these 5 surprised you the most. I read every comment, and I genuinely love to know. And if you're looking for guidance on what to actually look for in a knee-friendly shoe, I've got a video on exactly that. I'll link it right here and in the description. Thanks so much for watching, take care of those knees, and I'll see you in the next one.